Hello, my fellow Earth Angels. Welcome back for another lesson. Thank you for joining me. My name is Taylor, and today's lesson we are jumping right in is that God meant it for good. All right, we have a story time today for me to get this message across. Bear with me, and just know I am sharing this for someone else's benefit, okay? Okay. All right, so before we can really get into the moral of today's lesson, I need to provide some background so that you understand the story better. So I am currently in an amazing relationship, but before this relationship, there are two notable relationships I need to talk about. So I'm also doing laundry, so if you hear that in the back, sorry. So yeah, I had a relationship fresh out of college with someone that was a really close friend. And with that relationship, we ended just because I just saw him more as a friend. We had a very great connection. He was literally my best friend. And I think I always saw him as a friend, but I allowed other people's opinions kind of change what I had going on. They just kept saying, you guys have such a great connection, you guys should be in a relationship. And after hearing that for a while and kind of just being lonely, I was like, okay. So we ended up getting in a relationship, but it really didn't last long because in the relationship I just felt like I just see you as a friend, you're the bro, you're the homie. So that was that. We ended because I just wanted to be his friend. I didn't really want to be his romantic partner at that time. And we ended on good terms. We actually continued to be friends after that. Maybe he felt the same way. It just felt forced because of other people telling us that's what we should do because our relationship as friends was so good, right? So that was that. We ended because we wanted to stay friends. Fast forward a couple years later, I end up in a relationship with someone else, and we're not really going to talk too much about that relationship, but all you need to know about that relationship is that it was toxic and the Lord wanted me out of that, but I just kept trying to make fetch happen. I kept trying to make that relationship work, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And when we ended, we did not, we ended on good terms, in a sense, we both got to the point where we was let's walk away. But this was a relationship that was literally a roller coaster. We would make up, break up, make up, break up, make up. We broke up a million times in that relationship. And towards the end of the relationship, I kept telling him, I was like, I don't like that you keep breaking up with me and then we get back together. I'm tired of that. I don't want to do that. Most of the time he would break up with me. Sometimes I would break up with him, but most of the time he would break up with me. And then maybe a day later we would get back together. I think the longest we broke up and then got back together was maybe a week. So that was our toxic cycle. And I told him, towards the end of the relationship, I kept telling him, I was like, I'm serious. If we break up again, we're done. I'm tired of doing this with you. I'm tired of this dance. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. And we were living together. So this man would break up with me and move out and then move back in a couple days later. Toxic. Stressful too, because then it's we're not going to get too much into it. But all you need to know is that relationship was toxic. It wasn't good. But me being the lover girl I am, I kept trying to make it work. And that man kept trying to hurt me. And honestly, what I've learned from that relationship is that being in a relationship with someone that literally hates you, if you survive it, you are much stronger for it. Not recommending it. I don't think I even needed to go through that to learn what I learned. I think I forced it, and then God had to use it. I forced it. I kept trying to stay in something that God clearly kept telling me was not for me. And I got hurt, but the Lord will use that pain for good. The Lord meant it for good. And I think before we get more into the story, I think I want to take a pause and read what Bible scripture supports what I'm saying, because then I'll be able to connect some of the pieces from there. So with that being said, let's go to Genesis chapter 50. And we're going to read a bit from this, okay? Genesis chapter 50, verse 15. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said to one another, "If Joseph is holding a grudge against us, he will certainly repay us for all the suffering we caused him." So they sent this message to Joseph: "Before he died, your father gave a command. Say this to Joseph: please forgive your brothers' transgressions and their sin, the suffering they caused you. Therefore, please forgive the transgression of the servant of the God of your father." Joseph wept when their message came to him. His brothers also came to him, bowed down before him, and said, "We are your slaves." But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You planned evil against me. God planned it for good to bring about the present result, the survival of many people. Therefore, don't be afraid. I will take care of you and your children." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Okay. So now we are going to break this down, and I'm going to give you real life examples of, I'm going to give you a real life application of this passage in my life. But you needed the background to understand this application. So let's go ahead and get into it. So starting back at verse 15. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said to one another, "If Joseph is holding a grudge against us, he will certainly repay us for all the suffering he caused." So if you don't know this story, essentially what happened is Joseph was his father's favorite son. And he had no shame in his game about it. He was very openly displaying favoritism towards Joseph. And his brothers, who were all older than him, held a grudge. They were they felt very jealous, and they were angry about the fact that Joseph was their father's favorite. And Joseph had an anointing on his life. So he had a dream very early on in life that essentially they would all be bowing down to him at some point. And because they were so young, when he told his family about this dream, they looked at him sideways like, "So you're saying we're going to bow down to you?" Like, they got offended. They were very angry, but that's literally the dream the Lord gave him. But I think that's a testament of sometimes the Lord will tell you something and you just need to keep it to yourself. Don't expose it too prematurely. So Joseph let his family know, like, yeah, this is the dream I had. And they were really angry about that. Long story short, fast forward, they were so angry about that and the fact that he was their father's favorite that they said, "Let's kill him." Imagine your siblings hating you so much they say, "Let's kill you." He had a lot of brothers. He had 12. He had 12? Yeah, he had 12. He had 12? Or did the other one come after? There's the 12 tribes of Israel. So I'm not sure if the 12 includes the youngest brother or if the 12 includes just Joseph. That's just details right now. Please don't get hung up on that and do not eat me up. Feel free to correct me in the comments though. But essentially what I'm saying is he had a lot of brothers. He had a lot of brothers, and most of them wanted to kill him. But one that actually had a soul, he said, "Let's not kill him, let's sell him instead." But I believe that was his way of just trying to spare his life, and he had every intention of returning his younger brother to his father. But for some reason, he left them alone with Joseph, and in the time it took him to leave and come back, they sold that man. He came back to his brothers, and they were like, "Yep, was it Egyptians? Some group of people came, and they sold him. They sold their brother into slavery." So that happened. So what they're saying is that, and Joseph's father was so sad. He was so depressed because they went home and told their father that he died by like an attack from an animal or something. So his father was really sad about that. And again, he was his father's favorite. So long story short, they do get reunited because Joseph becomes literally a savior to all of them. God instilled in him the mindset to prepare for a famine that provided for everyone in the land. So this famine was so great that it actually impacted his family, even though they didn't live where he lived. So his family had to travel to him, not knowing it was him, to get food. And that's how the family reunited. Long story short, it's a good story. You should definitely go read it in Genesis. I'm giving you cliff notes to get to my point, okay? So this is not all encompassing. I am missing a lot of details. Okay, those are the disclaimers. Okay. But yeah, the families reunited. And then shortly after being reunited, or however long it took, I don't remember right now, his father died. So his brothers thought since his father died, Joseph will remember what he did to them. He sold them. They sold him into slavery. They thought because their father died and he would no longer be there to protect him, they thought for sure Joseph would unleash a wrath on them to pay them back for everything they have put him through, right? So they're like realizing now that their father is dead, they're wondering if Joseph's going to take revenge on them. For me, how my life kind of relates to this is that when I got out of my toxic relationship, I went through a season where I just spent a lot of time by myself. I needed to really reset my mind after coming out of that toxic relationship. And there was a time where, let me gather my thoughts real quick. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I want to talk about that part right now. Let's move on for a second. Going to verse 16. So they sent this message to Joseph. Before he died, your father gave a command. Say this to Joseph. Please forgive your brothers' transgressions and their sin, the suffering they caused you. Therefore, please forgive the transgression of your servants, of the God of your father. Joseph wept when their message came to him. His brothers also came to him, bowed down before him, and said, "We are your slaves." But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You planned evil against me. God planned it for good to bring about the present result, the survival of many people. Therefore, don't be afraid. I will take care of you and your children." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Okay, so now everything else I want to relate to this application can relate to what I want to share about my life. But essentially here, what just happened is, because they thought Joseph was going to take revenge on them, they lied, because there's literally nothing in the Bible that supports them what they said. Like, there's no record of their father saying, "Forgive your brothers." Like, they made that up because they were so scared that he would take action against them. So they told that lie, and Joseph's like, "Listen, it's water under the bridge. You meant me harm, but God meant it for good. God meant it for good because he sent me ahead in this place so that I would be able to provide for you during this famine." He's saying, like, even though you intended me harm, you wanted to do evil against me, you wanted to make my life worse, God used that for good. And it's been my joy to be able to provide for you. So he's saying, I'm not mad at you. I forgave you a long time ago. And he spoke kindly to them. He accepted them. He said, look, we are family, right? So that's that. How that relates to my life. So when I got out of that relationship, that toxic relationship, I spent a year getting my mind back right. Because like I said, the relationship was very toxic. And the relationship for me was very verbally abusive. Like, the person I was with was very verbally abusive to me. And in turn, I would just start hitting him. So I was like physically abusive to him. Like, we would get in arguments and he would say the most, he would say the most hurtful things to me. And he would also get very loud. He would like scream over me. And because I felt like I could not speak, I would just start hitting him. He's literally never hit me though. One time he pushed me against a wall, but that's the most he ever did. He would attack me with his words. And then I felt so weak that I would just use my hands. I couldn't use my voice. I would use my hands. And my voice is literally like my superpower. Like, my anointing is in my voice. So for me to feel so quieted, that's why I would in turn put my hands on him. And I'm definitely not saying that's right. I didn't approach this correct either. I'm not condoning my behavior nor his, so I don't want anyone to watch this video and think that's how they should handle the situation. The proper action should have been us breaking up and staying far away from each other, but we kept trying to make fetch happen, and we stayed in that relationship knowing it was not to either of our benefits. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I'm not condoning it. I just want to be real and transparent with you guys. I don't believe in telling half a story. If you're going to tell a story, you need to also tell your part in it. So now that that's aside, when I got out of the relationship, I spent a year by myself, blah, blah, blah. Then I made a friend, like through him when we were in the relationship. He had a friend and his friend had a girlfriend. I became friends with the girlfriend. Despite us breaking up, I was still friends with this girlfriend. So long story short, she ended up getting pregnant. She invited me to her baby shower, and she informed me that my ex would be there and he was the godfather. So at this point, I had a choice. I could go or I could not go. But at this point in life, I was mentally healed. Like, I was perfectly fine. Like, I'm good. I wasn't holding no grudge. I had moved on. At this point, I had been talking to my current boyfriend for a little bit. Like, I was good. I was like, seeing that man is literally not going to rattle me in any way. So I went to the baby shower. And I remember at the time, my mom and sister were like, you are so mentally strong. I went to the baby shower and I saw him, and I tried to be the bigger person. I actually tried to go greet him and acknowledge him. Despite everything that happened, I still wanted to acknowledge him. I went to him, I tapped his shoulder to say hello, and I know he knew it was me. Like, he saw me, he just hadn't spoke to me. So I said, I'll take the first step. I really don't mind. I went to him, I tapped him on the shoulder. He did not turn around and say anything to me. He ignored me. I gave it a second. I was like, I know he felt this tap. I know he felt this tap, and I know he knows it's me. I said, a second time, tap that shoulder. He ignored me again. And I was like, all right, whatever. I tried to be the bigger person. And there was a girl, like a mutual friend, that was like watching this whole interaction. So I think she was also shocked that I approached him. And once she saw that he ignored me, I don't know how other people would have responded to that, but I was just like, all right. And then I walked away, and the girl was like, you did the right thing. And I know I did. So that was that. He literally didn't speak to me, and I didn't stay at the event much longer after that. I left pretty soon. Like, I was there to show support for the girl that was pregnant, and because he was there, I wanted to just acknowledge him because that's the mature thing to do. But I didn't lose no sleep of it. And oh man, I got such a beautiful compliment that night. Somebody gave me such a beautiful compliment that I looked beautiful. So it was like, it probably hurt his feelings to see without him, I was doing much better. I looked a lot better. Like, you can see on the outside what you're going through sometimes. And I was going through a lot of healing. I looked like a healed version of me. So that happened. And then I literally never heard from him or anything. Oh, shortly after our breakup, because we always did this breakup makeup thing, when I told him when we break up again, like, I'm done, he didn't think I was serious. So after the last time we had broke up, he gave it a couple of weeks, and then he tried to reach out to me and tried to like rekindle something. I blocked him. I was like, I cannot let this man have any access to me if I want to heal, if I want to get right. I can't let this man keep trying to creep into my life. So I blocked him. He's still blocked to this day. He's still blocked. So that's that. And then like a year later, this event that I just told you about where I tried to speak to him and he ignored me, that happened. Now that happened in February. Yes, that happened in February. I remember because I had a very powerful revelation right after it happened. Like, it all made sense. It all made sense. It all made sense. And that is a story that I will share, not today. Anyway, so that happened in February of this year, 2025. Now we are in December 2025. And I wake up this morning. Mind you, I am selling calendars on Etsy. I just opened an Etsy shop. You should check it out. It will be in the description if you want to check it out. But I am selling calendars that I created. I wake up this morning and I have an order from my ex-boyfriend from college. And I was like excited. I was like, oh, because we ended on good terms. I was like, oh, he's supporting me. That is so kind. So I see his name. I open the order and I'm like, it is my college ex's name on the order, but it is my toxic ex's mother's address on the order. I said, why? Why? And I say all of this to say, I went through a few emotions when that happened. Like, first, I was confused, but it turned into being like gratified because it was like very validating, a validation I wasn't even looking for, but it was very validating to see that man is still thinking about me. He tried to ruin my life. He tried to ruin my confidence. He tried to destroy the light inside of me. And to see me out here still flourishing, still doing great, you did not have the impact on my life that you thought you was gonna have. Because when you're in a relationship with someone that is constantly trying to tear you down with your words, you could literally become a shell of yourself. And I was a shell of myself. But thank God, through seeking the Lord and doing a lot of inner work, I remembered who I was and I became a much better version of myself. Despite everything I went through in that relationship, the enemy meant it for harm. Like, I think he was jealous of me. If I'm being very honest, I think he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself quite yet, and he was trying to destroy it because he didn't have anything going on in his life. Not to be rude, but just telling it like it is, he didn't have a goal to like work towards. I don't want to talk bad about him. But I think he saw something in me that I didn't quite see in myself yet, and he was trying to kill it, okay? He was trying to kill it. And it's very dangerous to stay in a relationship with somebody that does not uplift you, that literally wants to tear you down, make you a shell of yourself, and make you feel like you are less than dirt. It's not healthy. It doesn't impact your self-esteem or your confidence or the way, like, your self-worth. It doesn't impact those in a positive way. So if you are in a relationship where you feel any of that, get out of there as soon as possible. Get out of there. Your life will be, I know it's very hard to even think, am I gonna see it? Like, it's very hard to move from your comfort zone. And I was very comfortable with him. I also didn't really have a real example of what love was. I thought that was love. I thought that was a normal relationship. I've since learned it is not. It is not normal, okay? It is not. But when you think that's normal, when you think that's just how things go, when you're just trying to see the good, you're just trying to see his potential, you're just trying to work it out, like, when you see all of that, you'll stay in a very toxic relationship much longer than you should. And that is preventing you from figuring out what your purpose is in this life, what you are called to do, how you should be spending your time, because you're using so much energy fighting in a relationship. You're using so much energy trying to stay alive, because truly being in a relationship so dark, it's just so dark. And I saw the impact it had on my energy, and I see how I move now, and it's like night and day. So, like, literally the key to life is getting out of any toxic relationship. that's not harvesting your energy for good, that's draining it, depleting it. And if I would have stayed in that relationship, my life would have taken a much different path. Because I can promise you, I would have never felt inspired in that relationship enough to curate my Instagram the way it's curated now, to make the TikTok videos I make now, to make these YouTube videos I make now, to make the content that I put on Etsy now. I would have never had the inspiration or the confidence to do any of these things if I would have stayed in that relationship. But what I did gain from going through that relationship, as much as God wanted to see me out, he never wanted to see me in that relationship to begin with. But I was going through some things in my own life that left me susceptible to something like that. And then I had to endure it. And I didn't quite understand why I was going through that stuff then. Because I was like, I'm just trying to love you. Why are you being so mean to me? I'm trying to make you a better version of you and me a better version of me. And I'm trying to just love you. Like, why are you always trying to fight with me? I went through so much in that relationship. And I think when you survive being in a relationship with someone that is jealous of you, someone that literally hates you, and you make it out, your mental strength, like once you heal from it, your mental strength is unmatched. Like, I think he meant it for harm. He meant evil towards me, to treat me the way he treated me, to handle me the way he was handling me. He meant it for my harm. But the Lord meant it for good, because he can use that. I'm here able to share this story freely, openly, to give somebody some insight into what their options really are. You don't have to stay in that wicked relationship. You can go curate a completely new and better life for yourself by leaving it. And I think if I would have, what really helped me eventually be able to leave that relationship is seeing women online talk about leaving their relationships and signs that you shouldn't be in certain relationships and things that are not healthy. And if you're seeing these red flags in a relationship, it's not healthy. Like, seeing other women online speak so freely about that stuff, really, it was the beginning of forever for me, because it unleashed this thought that I had to stay with this man. I got with him when I think I was 23. I was very green, and I just wanted to stay with one person and make it work with one person. I kept saying I didn't want to start over. At 23 years old, talking about something, I don't want to start over. Are you kidding me? If I would have stayed in that relationship, I would have missed out on the blessing that is my current relationship, because the way the man I'm with now treats me, that started a whole new healing cycle for me, because then I had to compare how my current boyfriend is treating me compared to what I was dealing with in the past. And I had to answer some very hard questions for myself. I had to say, what in me was so broken that I allowed someone to treat me the way they treated me? And I was in that relationship for like 3 years, or like 2.5 years. It was a long time. And I had to really sit with that, like, because at some point, you are not a victim. You are choosing. You are choosing the life you have. So it's not like I could put all the blame on him, because I chose to stay, and I kept choosing to stay. I kept letting that man move back in. How diabolical is it to break up with someone, move out, and then move back in? Whew. Oh my goodness. Like I said, because of everything I went through, it's really equipped me to have the confidence I have now. Because when you come back from something so dark, when you find God and you find the light and you find who your identity is in Christ, you're just like, you're reborn, you're renewed, you're rebranded, your mind is made peaceful. I've had so much peace ever since I got out of that relationship. And it's like I thank God for that time, because I think I had to know what I absolutely never want again to be able to find what I do want. Like, coming out of that relationship, it was very easy for me to talk to men. Like, before I got in this relationship, there was a few men that tried to speak to me, and I literally knew in 2 conversations that they weren't for me, and I didn't need to waste any more time. Like, you talk about a strict girlfriend, I am very strict. I am very strict, because I take my peace so seriously now, because when the Lord delivers you from hell, you refuse to go back. You refuse. I'm like, no, I protect my peace with everything. It is everything to me, so that I never end up in a situation like I was in again, so that I'm never that broken version of myself that I was ever again, so that I can look in the mirror and know who I am. And I found who I am by finding Christ, or rather, he found me. He called me from the grave, because surely my soul was dead being with that man. And like I said, I will expand on that story a different day, because I learned so much from going through that I would absolutely like to offer that to another young woman or a woman older than me, so that they can recognize when they need to leave and actually have the confidence to do it. Like, I have some ideas of how I would like to do that. I definitely want to help other women avoid the pain that I went through, because if I already felt the pain, why would you need to feel the pain, right? But that's for another time. I'm not really ready to unleash everything quite yet. Even making this video is quite hard, because I've never spoken about this publicly. And this is a very big thing for me to put this on the internet, but I'm doing it for God's glory. I am doing it to help another woman. I am doing it to free another woman and show her that despite what you're dealing with, and it doesn't just have to be relationships, but this is just the most prominent thing. And because I got that order this morning, I said, this is what I'm talking about today. It's like in anything in life, when it is so hard, it is so dark, you have to still count it as joy, because you have to know the Lord is going to use that for your enrichment. It's going to serve you in the future. The Lord will turn your ashes to beauty. And that is what I've seen in this relationship. That relationship crashed and burned. Those are the ashes. But it has allowed me to grow into this version of myself that I am so grateful for, that I feel very confident in, that I don't want to say I'm proud, because we're not called to be proud. So I'll just leave it at gratitude. I am so grateful for the version of me that has emerged despite everything I went through. And I'm just here to tell my story so that another woman knows it's possible. And I'm coming to you in my PJs and my bonnet so that you feel free. Like, this is a girly chit chat. We are comfy. This is real stuff. And I hope it helps you. So like, just tying all, because I might have went all over the place in this video, but essentially the lesson of today is that whatever dark season you're going through, just know the Lord means it for good, even if the humans around you are meaning you harm. It is definitely going to work in the long run for your benefit. So change your perspective from a victim mindset and change it to, how is the Lord using this to shape me? What is the Lord trying to teach me about myself as I go through this dark season? And from there, when you start looking at things as, how can I learn from this? How can I become a better version of myself from this? What is this going to allow me to teach other people? When you start shifting your mindset to that, you can endure things much better, knowing that the Lord is on your side and he is using it for your good. Thank you for joining me for today's lesson. I hope you stick around for tomorrow's lesson and check out the previous ones. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye. I know you need a calendar for 2026, and I'm going to tell you why you should buy mine. I know you want to grow your life. I know you want to grow your walk with the Lord. I know you want to become a better you. This calendar is geared towards all of those goals I know you have. In this calendar, I have a Proverbs verse at the top of each month, related affirmations that apply to the Proverbs verse, and a reflection question aimed to gear your inner growth. It's also accompanied by a picture that I took myself by the grace of God. I have a hot girl dog, and we would go on hot girl walks, and I would take pictures all the time. And then one day the Lord said, go ahead and put it in the calendar. So I went ahead and put it in the calendar. And this is it! And I really hope you consider buying it. Like I said, it's really geared towards those that are interested in growing their walk with the Lord, and also just doing some inner healing, inner reflection, and self-development. It's really like a self-improvement motivational type of calendar. So it accompanies It includes it includes a Proverbs verse at the top of each month to help you know what the word says and help guide your decisions throughout the day. But it also gives you affirmations to help you remind yourself that you are made in the Lord's image and you are capable of all of these great things. And then there's a reflection question at the end, because sometimes we have to ask ourselves some hard questions so that we can get to the growth. So there you have it. I hope you're interested. And if you are, you can find the link in my description. I hope to see a purchase from you. Thank you for listening. Bye.